Hi everybody. Today we're going to be talking about, well, we're in LUMION today. We're working in this rendering program, and we're going to be talking about editing the weather and the sun in our drawings, in our renderings. So the cool thing in LUMION is that you have a lot more options in what your background looks like. I personally chose this very plain background for this example because I chose to download I chose to download the newest version of LUMION on my computer, which is definitely not the newest version of computers. So it's kind of slow, but still is sufficient enough to show you what LUMION 10, how to work in this with the sky and stuff. So first of all, over in this toolbar, the bottom toolbar, I've selected the weather icon. So we can select and we can choose to make different changes here. So first of all is we have control over the clouds. So we can select this and we have different options here for clouds. But there are more options. I'm gonna pick this one, it's cool. So you can choose different options and see how it changed. Now we have these kind of clouds. Kind of fun. You can choose different things. We can turn on enable the real skies, and it kind of makes it look more realistic. That's kind of cool. And if you choose real skies, then when you select the real sky, you have different skies even. And if you see up here in the top toolbar, you can barely see it on my screen, but you have even settings for evening sky, morning sky, overcast sky, sunset sky, clear sky, and night sky. We're going to keep it simple with this cool pattern cloud sky. Okay, cool. So feel free to see how that works for you. In different versions of LUMION, you have different abilities and different capacities to edit these options, but still you're able to edit the sky and the sun angle and the time of day in all different LUMION programs. It just depends on what kind of options you'll have depending on the version. But if we continue on this next, we have a compass rose here that shows the sun direction. So all you have to do is click and drag this sun, and you can control where your sky is rotated, so you can control where your sun angle is at. It's kind of cool. You can see the shadow rotating around the building as I move the sun. So this is almost as if you were looking down, straight down at the house. The sun is going in a circle, and so the shadow is going in a circle opposite of the sun all the way around the house, kind of a thing. So you can choose what direction, whether you want maybe to focus on the front of the house, you want more light there, or you want like a side view and want the sun to go into the windows, kind of a thing. You can choose. A cool thing is, if I wanted it to go into these windows here, I have a roof that kind of outcrops a little bit, and it won't let all that much sun in unless the sun is lower. So this second one is controlling the sun height, and you can drag this straight up is like noon. Oh, sun height is fixed for real skies. Cool, that means I'll have to turn off real skies. Let's go back to a fake sky. That's okay. But that's cool to know. Real sky, you cannot edit your sun height, but with fake sky, you can do that. And so when it's straight up in the air, that's as if it's noonish and the sun is right overhead. We're gonna make it angled down low and see how long we can get the shadow to go. Okay, you see, oops. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, kind of like a dawnish kind of glow here. You can see this tree here, the shadow goes all the way, and then even the building of the house extends all the way over to this far side. So you can control the length of your shadows based on the height of your sun. The closer to the top you put it, the shorter the shadow is. But once it passes this middle line into the evening-ish time, if you see one more back here, load, your sun is gone, and so it's less about where your shadows are now and more about what your sky looks like and how much light you kind of want to show. You can get pretty dark, but that's where you can add lighting. And we can talk about that next time. Lighting, you have to actually enjoy doing that. But you can play around with where you want your sun height to be, and it kind of chooses the time of day. It kind of gives me super careful with your mouse when you drag it. So you choose just the right location. Get a cool. That's cool. Okay. Now we're going to look at the sun brightness. As you can maybe infer, it talks about the brightness of the sun. So not only do we get to control where the sun is, but the brightness thereof. See, if we were to put it full max, you can see our sky gets super, super pink because we have more sunlight coming in from the sun over here. Or if we were to drag it all the way down, we barely have sun in the corner that's slowly shining into our window here. You can kind of control the intensity thereof, how intense the sun is in your rendering. That's cool. So kind of see how can it best highlight your building? Because that's what we're going for. We can play around with the sky and the backgrounds and the trees and everything all we want, but the most important thing is we want to be able to highlight our building and make it stand out the best it can. Make it look, not make the sky look bright in the building basically, but have them work together. Use the sky to kind of help bring the building out. Okay, the last one we have here is the cloud amount. So we can choose if we want kind of not very many clouds and kind of we're in the middle of literally a fantasy world of nowhere, or we can bring in lots of clouds and have a completely overcasty day. So you can move the scale back and forth. Now you see when I hover over this bar, it says shift. Because these bars and like the sun and everything are so what's the word? So touchy. If I hold down with my mouse, I can hold the shift key and I can go down in even smaller increments. Right now you can barely see it happening with the cloud, but it helps a lot when you do like gradients or rotation angles even. If you're rotating your building and you want it like in between 5 degrees and 4 degrees, you can hold down the shift key as you hover over the bar and slide it slowly over into a more decimalistic number for you. But this is the sun, so in Lumion you have the power to control the weather and it's all in your fingertips. So go ahead and make yourself more familiar with these settings and try to use it in your own renderings and tell me how it goes.